Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to talk about how to manifest positive change and how that starts with building self-worth and also identifying those blocks, those limiting beliefs which are stopping things perhaps from coming in and holding them off. Because it's so important, I feel, that for things you want to bring in, that you match that frequency and remove those blocks of wanting to bring those things in. Now, one thing I found really helpful, which I did a couple of years ago, I mentioned this in my last video, and I recommend you give it a whirl if you'd like to, is get a pen and paper, or if you prefer writing, on an iPad or computer, whatever, and write down all the things in your life now that you're just not that happy about and wish could improve. It could be where you work or lack of work. It could be finances. It could be health, friendships, lack of friendships, family connections, whatever it is, where you're living, all sorts of things. And then write down where you'd like things to be. What would make all those things better? Go through each one. And then this is, again, what I did. Identify what's in the middle, where you're at, what you'd like to achieve, and what's in the middle blocking that. What's the issue? What's the problem that needs to be solved? Now, for example, I found that one thing, that a core sort of thing that went through all the things that were blocking me from moving forward with many things was my lack of self-worth. And that begins with self-care. I didn't really feel like I deserved all these things, and I didn't really feel like I had self-worth. And that had come from sort of difficult things in life, and just, losing contact with people, and just feeling like, well, it's just not going to happen. But so even though I thought in my head, for example, oh, I wish I could have £1 million, my mindset and the energy that I was putting out was, well, I don't deserve that, to have £1 million, or I don't deserve to have new connections. I don't deserve to have that. And, because I just sort of wasn't really caring about myself. So it's so important to start with you. So what I suggest you do is write all these things down, take your time. Don't get upset doing it, because this is about you being your own rescue, and you starting with yourself, and you deciding, right, enough is enough. I am going to start changing my life for the better, and that has to start with me. And the first thing I'm going to do is identify what it actually is, because sometimes if we're just not feeling that happy in life, and there's a lot of things weighing on our shoulder, and we don't really know where to start, it can just feel in your head like a great big fog. And the one thing I found really helpful is to actually break things down into little sections, because when you break things down, they suddenly don't seem as many. And then you can work out, like, okay, that's that problem. How can I work on that one? Rather than going, I don't like where I live. I don't like my neighbours. I'm just not happy. I don't like my job, or I wish I could find a job that I liked. I don't feel like I'm living a life of purpose. I wish I had more friends. I've been there in that headspace, and it was just like I couldn't see the wood from the trees. So it's about just identifying breaking it down where you're at and what would help solve those problems, and literally just start. And that's why it's so important to start with the self-care. Because if you're saying to the universe, or you've got a vision board, for example, that says, I want to bring all these things in, but you're not showing that you care about yourself and being kind to yourself, it's not going to help match that frequency. Now, I've read The Secret. I've read amazing books on manifesting, and studied it a lot. But what I found is, when it really started to click into place, is when I started to match what I'd like to bring in with that frequency. Some people talk about act as if you already have that item you want, or have that life you want, or have whatever it is. I've experimented with that a little bit, and it has sort of worked. But what I really found was the key, almost like the light bulb moment, was when I started to match that frequency. And it doesn't mean you've got to go out and buy yourself a load of things. I'm not talking about necessarily materialistic things. I'm talking about caring about yourself, having a morning routine where you care about yourself, making your bedroom a sanctuary, making your home a sanctuary. If you want to manifest, I don't know, an amazing new kitchen, but you're not looking after your kitchen now and showing that you just don't care, how is that going to match your frequency? If you want to and another example is, if you say want to manifest a new career because you don't like where you're working now, but you, for example, don't have the skill set yet for that new career you want to have, think about upskilling. Think about, in the evenings, what's something I could learn in my evenings to gain those skills so I can leave that job and move into a job, or, build a business, start a career that I'm more aligned with. It's about really just getting yourself out of that fog in your mind of what can I do to change. Now, friendship, that's again something I can relate to, dealing with loneliness. If you're sat at home feeling lonely and isolated, and again, this is something I've experienced, but you're not doing anything to help yourself, how is that going to happen? You've got to be willing to help yourself. So, what's something you could do today? There's a lot. I know this is a difficult time of year. Are there any little groups you can find that you can join? Are there any online communities? Obviously, be safe and sensible and all that are interested in like-minded things like you are. Like I said, it could be hiking, it could be some arts and crafts, movies, whatever it is there something you can just make that, because one connection with one person can literally change your life, because that can then lead to other connections and building that social circle again, because it's so important to have support. But you've got to be willing. I'm in mama bear mode here right now. You've got to be willing to help yourself. So thank you for listening. I'll be doing more videos on manifesting, but it all begins with self-care, because that builds self-worth, and that puts out to the universe that, hey, universe, I care about myself. I want life to be better. I deserve these things. I deserve change. I deserve to live a happier life. But you've got to start showing up for yourself. So, hope this is helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe if you do find it helpful. Please look out for more videos, and stay positive, because life can change for the better, but you've got to be able to believe that it can change, and you've got to start caring about you, because you matter, and things are going to be all right, but you've got to start with you. Okay?